And we are live again. Hi, everyone. This is John with Passionerdly Podcasts, or Productions as it's going to be known pretty soon here. And here I am live on the Quiett Gentleman Network. I am so happy to have people coming in to chat tonight. Really quick, if you are available to just toss it out to social media and say, hey, by the way, we are going to be going live. And the way our games run for this channel is that I'm going to be looking for interaction from the audience to help us decide what exactly it is we're going to be doing tonight with our characters for a game. Tonight, we are playing, as you can probably see, let me point the right direction, there we go, for 7th Seas, A Pirate Pact. 7th Seas is a wonderful, wonderful RPG that is by John Wick. Originally, it was released by AEG. They held on to the rights for many years until, with a great deal of work, John Wick got his rights back, created the game, and has been putting out some amazing books. They have just released on PDF their most recent book, which I believe is Secret Societies. That came out in the last week or two. Does this not count as social media? This counts as social media, but I like to think of like Twitter or Facebook or whatever else. Go ahead and get out there and say, hey, we need more people, or come join us tonight for this. So this game is better with the more people we have and the more people in chat we have. Hey, Bink, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Glad you could make it. Trying to think what else is going on. But anyway, 7th Seas. It is I guess you could say, a fictional historic RPG. It's set in kind of a Renaissance swashbuckling time period for Europe. This most recent series of books have also begun to pull in America. They have also done one now, a Kickstarter that was for Katai, which is a Asian kind of stand-in. I think. Oh, thank y'all so much. Excellent. Thank you, Deadlock, and thank you so much, Farlane and Mooncrow. We're glad to have y'all here. But so they have this kind of interesting stand-in for all the nations of Europe, or many of the nations. I shouldn't say all, because they kind of leave out Belgium and a few of the smaller ones. But the major nations whose literature is known here in America, we'll put it that way, they have their own kind of stand in the world of Seven Seas. Avalon, which is where our character is from, is equivalent of England. Avalon also has its own versions of, Scotland and Ireland. Ireland is Innismore. Scotland is called the Highlands. Yeah. I'm not going to give him a hard time for naming him that because, yeah, what can I say? One of the things I love about Seventh Seas, though, in recent years with the stuff that they do is that they have been purposefully going and finding people from the cultures that they're writing about to provide, both editing and also insight and writing into these books. At the same time, this is a book that is LGBTQ inclusive as far as an RPG goes. As you are flipping through it, they are going to very much normalize, as it should be, with you'll see two guys kissing, you'll see two girls kissing. Romance was a big part of kind of the literary movement for swashbuckling. That's always kind of been in the background. But yeah, so wonderful series, and we are getting back into Seven Seas: A Pirate Pact. This is going to be our third night doing this mission or this game. Most of the things that we run on here are games. This is more of a choose your own novel, but it pulls in some of your stats and abilities. As you can see over here on the page, let me pull back up this for me. You'll see that my character's name is Quinn, and I'm Avalonian, so it's essentially England. And here are my character stats. We also have down here my interactions that I've had with different members of the crews that I'm a part of. My money, I am still uninjured. Kind of curious about that because I have been in combats, and I wonder if I had looked at my character sheet right after the combat, if they would have had my character damaged in the fight that I was in with the squid. Because I did get knocked twice. So I am curious about that. But anyway, so my character in this game, their name is Quinn. I am playing a character that is non-binary. I have begun, I think, to... Yes, I have. I'm romancing the captain, I believe. Am I not? Captain Redwing? We had our little kiss. But I was sent on a mission by my mother, who is an admiral. The admiral sent me to take some documents. I believe it was to Castile, or was it Montaigne? I think it was Castile. And I was supposed to go there with these documents to acquire new ships for the Navy for Avalon. Avalon is set in kind of a time period of Queen Elizabeth. There is a queen over Avalon, and very much the white virgin queen kind of thing with the kind of, what was it, privateer navy that she had that was a huge force that kind of shocked people. But anyway, I'm losing track of things here. But so I've been sent to go acquire ships, or at least get this contract there. Subversively, nobody's supposed to know who I am. I'm just running this errand that is good for my mom and good for the government. In the meantime, while I am out, and while I'm out, I was... we were attacked by a group of pirates. They were a cutthroat group. But then all of a sudden, another group of pirates showed up who were from the Brotherhood of the Coast, which turns out has a certain level of morals and honor. Both the pirate ship and the ship I was on went down. So now we are on the ship of Captain Redwing for the moment, which things were kind of heightened at that point because some of the crew did not want to be with a pirate captain. But Captain Redwing had been very honorable, had treated people well, not locked anyone up, given them the opportunity to work. It was as long as you don't fight a member of the Brotherhood, they treat you well. As long, and they don't take everything you have, supposedly. But now we are actually on a mission to do some pirate hunting of our own. And not just pirate hunting, slaver hunting. Part of the crew of Captain Redwing's ship has been enslaved, and she is out looking for them. And that is where we really find ourselves at this point, because slavery is such a horrid crime that even the least receptive members of the crew that I was a part of, when it came to working with the pirates, when they heard that there were slavers, they were more inclined to work with the pirates than they were before. So it gives you an idea of where that kind of rates in here. So beyond that, I guess content warnings, if you feel that swashbuckling and action adventure is too much for what you're looking for on here. Possibility of coarse language or adult content of a mild variety, also possible. And of course, it's Twitch. You know how chat goes. But I do ask everybody, please be respectful. So with that said, we have enough voters to really get into the game and get back to what we were doing. So we are going to start up where we left off. And I believe we were disembarking the ship at this location called La Bucca. It's an island that is controlled by pirates. And there is a single female lead who oversees the island and has sort of a reputation as some sort of sorceress of the seas, or, however you want to put it. But people almost give her a supernatural quality. And that's where we're starting up. So here we go. You ride the short distance to the dock and water, murky with trash and ship waste. Maurice frowns down at it, but says nothing until you reach the pier. Oh, why don't we get some sounds going with this? We need some music, right? Or some sounds of waves and birds and things of that nature. Yeah, there we go. So I turn that down just a little bit. I tend to talk kind of lightly in comparison to music, so we'll go ahead and turn that down just a little. All right. Maurice frowns down at it, but says nothing until you reach the pier. Christine rushes to climb up onto the wooden platform and then instantly lurches and grabs onto the rope railing. "This isn't right," she cries. "Oh, I've been dreaming about it some time on dry land, but it feels like the world is still swaying." "As I said," Reuben barks with laughter, "you don't realize how accustomed you've grown to walking on waves until you're on flat land once more." He shakes his head, sighing elaborately. "It's not natural." "What?" Christine adds, taking a few tentative steps out onto the pier. "Walking on waves?" "No," Reuben replies, eyes twinkling. "Walking on flat land." He reaches his hand out to her, steadying her as she finishes climbing up the ladder. He stands next to her with a steadying hand on her back for a few moments longer. Welcome back, Crewworks. You feel it too. The land seems to rock, though you know it isn't moving. The rest of the crew cracks jokes about land legs and how treacherous flat land is. After a few moments, the swaying sensation subsides, and Reuben and the crew take their leave of you. Your first glimpse of La Bucca is oddly familiar. Some buildings have Avalonian cross-paned windows. Others have gray stone elements that could be at home in Sarmatia or Ison. Sarmatia being the equivalent of Turkey, Isen being the equivalent of Germany in this world. Still, others have ornate flourishes of carving that you would see in Montaigne, France. Above it all rise the grey stone spires of a monumental church that must be in the city center, as it would be in any other city in Castile, Spain. And yet, it is not like Thea either. The streets are broader and greener too. Trees and other plants break up the street to provide welcome shade from the southern sun. The people, like the buildings, show a mix of Thean origin. The clothing of the sailors and townsfolk alike show that there are many more Thayans than you would expect this close to the Atabean Sea, and many fewer Atabean natives or Rahuri. This island started out as a prison colony, and the prisoners have become the townsfolk, but they have also become the colonists, making no room for anyone but themselves. Suddenly, Christine stops short. "Do you smell that?" she asks, eyes lighting in excitement. She grabs your arm and points with her free hand. There. It's one of the food stalls that line the waterfronts. Most sell fish or vegetables on stick, but this one has a pork shoulder resting over a spit over a fire. Christine makes a beeline toward the man. "This smells amazing," she exclaims. Maurice follows, also gamely, smiling with a faint amusement at Christine's all-too-predictable enthusiasm. The merchant cocks his head at Christine, hearing her accent. "Not from around here. Well then, you won't want to miss La Bucca pork. It's the best you'll ever taste." He holds out a sliver for her to try. "Here, the first bit is free." Christine's rapturous sigh says all that needs to be said, and the vendor grins with pride in his work. While Christine chews happily, he turns to you, holding out another piece. "Want some? Maybe you'll like it as much as your friend does. What brings you to port?" It's the kind of easy conversation that he'd make with anyone, except that your answers are anything but easy. So here's where we start up. We have three answers that they're going to be looking for. Our first answer for him is, "No thanks, I don't eat meat. We're just making a stop to restock the ship." It's the truth, but it isn't the whole truth. "We're looking for someone who might have made dock here in the past few days." I tell him, hoping he might know something about Sigrid. "We're sailors ashore. Where can we find a tavern?" That's what I'm really interested in. So, yeah, chat, please feel free to help make a selection, 1, 2, or 3 in this situation. Whatever has the most votes is what I will go for. If you want to make a donation and overrule any of the votes, I will throw this out this time. If you want to make a donation and say which one it is that you want, I will go with that. Other than that, goodness, I don't know if anybody's ever had fire roasted pig or, pork shank or anything. Oh my goodness, it's wonderful. There's a great place down in Houston that does it, and they do a meal called the Pork Shank Monday, and it is a huge old piece of pig, like the leg, for like $20. It's wonderful. You will take half of it home. All right, so I've got everybody wants us to go with 3. We're sailors ashore. Where can we find a tavern? That's what I'm really interested in. Of course. The vendor grins broadly. "Oh, you're not alone in wanting to find that." He points toward a narrow, winding street that leads up a hill. "Follow that road and go to the big green building at the top of the hill. La Grasse Verte. You can't miss it. But if you do miss it, you'll be sorry you did." He laughs uproariously at his own joke. "Drink, gossip, gambling, whatever kind of shore leave you're looking for, you'll find it there. The pork will be excellent too. I sell it to them." "La Grasse Verte?" Maurice comments. That is perhaps the only place in Bucca that I know. I have an old acquaintance who works there. As you head up the hill, Christine swallows the last of her snack. Gossip? For once, she is focused on the mission. It means we'll probably be able to find the information that we're looking for about those slavers. Don't say it so loud, Christine. You climb the hill, following the road pointed out to you by the street vendor. The street is narrower than the others that you have seen so far, but just as well kept and dotted by trees. At the top of the hill is a large building dominating a street corner and half of the block beyond. Painted a once bright green, now faded by the sun, accented by little bits of stonework that might be seen in Montaigne. The sign could be at home in Montaigne as well, proclaiming the establishment La Grasse Fête. Music and chatter spill out through the open windows and burst into full cheerful volume as you go through the swinging door. Inside, you see a large open room. Half of the space is taken up with tables at which a dozen different games of chance are being played. Some with cards, some with dice, all with loud cheers and free-flowing drinks. Servers weave their way through the crowds, balancing trays of drinks with as much nimble skill as Siobhan negotiates. I did it again. I did. I apologize. Oh, anyway. That's swinging crow's nest in the Black Swan. A long bar runs the length of the back wall, crammed tight with more revelers. Behind the bar, presiding over it all, is a tall woman with a surprisingly elegant bearing. Her long silver hair piled into an elaborate knot that raises her head even higher. She might be 30, she might be 60. It's impossible to tell from her serene, unlined face. Madame Murmur, Maurice explains, nodding over to her. Not her real name, of course, but it is the one by which she wishes to be called, and I will not give away any other name that she might have once had when she lived in Montaigne. Madame Murmur, you repeat? Does she deal in secrets? Maurice nods. Primarily, yes. If there is anything that you wish to know, she will be able to tell you. So here are our choices this time. I'm going to be subtle. I'll ask Madame Murmur generally about ships passing through here. I'm going to ask Madame Murmur straight out about Sigrid Thomas. I'm going to skip Madame Murmur and see what the gossip I can pick up from the gambling table. So we are in a tavern now, aren't we? Let's get some tavern sales going. And everyone go ahead and let me know which ones y'all are thinking. Goodness, I would have sworn I specifically had a tavern. So far I've got that Deadlock with a 3, David with a 1, Ruworks 1 or 3. Very odd. I would have sworn. Well, I'm just going to go with, then, let's go with the restaurant for now. How's that sound? Turn it down a little bit. Well, I've got 1-1. If I need a tie maker, go for 3. Oh, so I need either a 1 or a 3 still. So it's either I'm going to be subtle or I'm just going to go to the gambling table. Let's see. 1. But yeah, you and David have voted 1. And then Ruworks and Deadlock have both gone 3. So I'm probably going to go ahead. Ah, there we go. So we went with one. You make your way over to the bar, weaving through servers and revelers alike, until you are standing in front of an elegant woman. Maurice pitches his voice to carry over the crowds, but only just. Bonjour, madame. Maurice Lafleur. The first hint of surprise crosses Madame Murmur's face as her eyebrows arch elegantly up. A pleasure indeed. To what do I owe it? She extends a graceful, ring-adorned hand, which Maurice lifts to his lips in a courtly kiss. I did not think that the Dame Fortune would visit this port. Maurice winces slightly at the mention of his lost ship. Not the Dame Fortune. I am temporarily attached to another ship, which has seen a need to pass through La Bucca. He nods over to you, prompting your questions. I'm looking for information about ships passing through, you begin. Yes, I know. You interrupt yourself to say, holding up a hand to forestall protest. There are a lot of ships passing through La Bucca, but someone as well informed as you will know what I mean when I say I'm looking for certain trends in vessels passing through, certain vessels that would take on unauthorized passengers along the way. There have been 5 ships in the last month from the Arabian Trading Company, she explains, her voice pitched low and her words coming with quick precision. They usually pass through here on their way back from other islands in the Arabian Sea. Until recently, they went from island to island capturing people as slaves, forcing them to work on cash crops, then selling those crops to Thanes at ridiculous rates. Then one of the islands revolted. She permits herself a small smile at that. But that means that getting locals became difficult. Now the ATC has taken to piracy. The captain's name that I have heard spoken most often is Sigrid Thomas. She and her crew attack ships, taking prisoners and slaves. They take them to their base far to the south. I do not know where, but it is near Aragosta. And then they come back here and boast about it. Her smooth expression shades into dark anger. So be careful when you speak of this, and be careful to whom you speak of it. You may draw the wrong kind of attention. There's another new piece of information, a valuable one. Wherever Sigrid Thomas was headed, it was near Aragosta. You and Christine and Maurice make your way out of La Grosse Verte with more information than you came, and one especially valuable piece. Wherever Sigrid Thomas was headed, it was near Aragosta. It is nearly dark by the time you carry your news back to the Black Swan. There you find a ship. Oh, so we're back at the ship. All right. Ship in much better repair than when you left. The damage from the sea monster and pirates alike has been cleared away, and even the mainmast is almost as good as new. The first person you see on the dock is Lex, directing a few of their crewmates and loading crates of supplies onto the ship. If you're looking for the captain, Lex tells you, she isn't back yet. Lex gives you a brief knowing grin before adding, sorry. They glance over your shoulder to the town before returning their divided attention to the stream of crates coming aboard. What's it like out there? I've been hearing that the people are on edge. They're scared. We should leave as soon as we can. It's nothing we can't handle, but we should stay focused on our goal. They should be. Sigrid Thomas has come through here. Ooh. So, how do we want to play it with Lex? I didn't really get a feeling that Lex wasn't somebody that I would trust earlier with this information. I mean, yeah. Everybody's in agreement on 2. Okay. So it's nothing we can't handle, but we should stay focused on our goal. If you focus on your goal. Sorry, that was Different Strokes. It's a theme song I haven't thought of in many years. Or A Different World? Different World, yeah. So for chat, Sigrid Thomas is the slaver that we are now hunting. So, I don't want to stop singing. I enjoy singing. So, I'm doing the head bob thing. I am what I am. Right you are, Lex Grease, voice lowering with matching determination. Any word on where that goal might be? I've heard that she's based somewhere around Aragosta. Then that's where we'll go to, Lex declares. Their serious frown remains for a moment, and then they let out a breath. Why don't you go get some rest? We're almost done here, and if the city is as tense as everyone is saying, I don't think there will be many of us going out drinking tonight. Can't risk getting into fights. Not if they're going to turn ugly. With Christine close behind, you make your way down to the crew quarters. It's relatively empty. Most of the crew haven't yet returned, beyond the ones helping Lex load the new supplies. Which means that Christine doesn't have to lower her voice too much when she leans forward in her hammock to say, So, I wanted to ask you something. She pulls out an apple and starts to chew on it, waiting for an answer. All right, you prompt. What do you think about Reuben, she asks. Oh, I knew it. He seems good at his job. He's kind. I don't really think about him that much, or he's a pirate. Well, obviously he's a pirate, but... yeah, she is definitely into Reuben. And he's nice. He is nice. And we're dating a captain of a pirate crew. I don't think we get much room to talk. So yeah, we got a quorum on 2. Excellent. He's kind. Christine's face lights up in a giddy grin. Isn't he? Oh, Christine is interested in Reuben. Yes, she agrees. Even before you've asked the question, grinning across at you. So, what should I do? He clearly likes you. You should pursue it. I'm not sure. He might just be being nice. I'd be cautious. Or, Christine, he's a pirate. Do nothing. Aww. I mean, seriously, how can you not go with the first one? If chat does not go with the first one, I am going to be really astonished. Yes, thank you, Mooncrow. Yes, thank you. Thank you. It's not like, I'm not like, what was it? We were watching Felicia Day the other day, and it was that dating simulator where she's, it's all people at dog parks. Yes, thank you. And her character has like the crush on the worst guy in the game. And, I mean, he's just controlling, manipulative. I don't go for that. Anyway. Christine grins at you. Do you really think so? I mean, I thought you might, but you know, I'm terrible at telling these things. Just then there's an outburst of noise overhead, shouting voices, footsteps pounding on the hollow deck. In an instant, all the sailors are up and out of their hammocks, and you and Christine follow close behind. The moon is out now, hanging low in the sky amidst the first few stars. Sailors pour out of the hatchways, cutlasses and swords at the ready to face whatever foe is there. But all they find is Lex and Reuben and a half dozen other Black Swan crew rushing about in great agitation. "What's going on?" Christine gasps. She rushes straight at Reuben, all of her attention on him. "Are you all right?" It's Lex who answers, though. "I'm so sorry, Quinn. Lex is more serious than you had ever seen them before, and more gentle, too. Captain Redwing has been kidnapped." There are actually tears in their eyes, glinting in the moonlight. "We need to go after her right away." "I'm furious. How could you let this happen? Who did this? I need to know all the information. Who has her? I'm terrified for her safety. We need to get to her soon." Wow. Oh, man. We got some drama going. And this is nothing like Zelda. We are not going off to save a princess. She is a pirate captain. Yes, kidnap is better than killed. My heart sank too with the "I'm so sorry" or whatever at the beginning. I was like, no. So yeah. I need to know all the information. Who has her? Allende. Ooh. Reuben pronounced the name flatly, all of his usual good humor gone. He takes a deep breath and addresses the rest of the crew. Captain Redwing said that she was going off by herself looking for information on Sigrid Thomas. When she didn't come back by the time we agreed, I went out looking. It took a while, but I finally found someone who had seen what happened, and they said they saw some of Allende's people carrying someone with a sack over their head. Couldn't see the face, but the coat was definitely the captain's. They were going towards a cove on the South Island. "That's where the sea monster is," cries Ivan the gunner. Akuso shakes her head sharply. "There's no such thing." "I think there is," Reuben replies. "They were talking about sacrifice." "Sacrifice?" Lex repeats, their voice rising higher with fear. "As in sacrificing Captain Redwing? Why are we still standing here? We need to go get her." "We can talk to Allende," Reuben said in a desperate attempt to soothe everyone. Try to negotiate. Christine looks to you. "We don't need to negotiate," I declare boldly. "We'll take the ship and go directly to save Captain Redwing." "If we can negotiate, then we should," I say, as calmly as I can. "We may not need to fight, we just need a good plan." "We can do both. It will be harder, but one group can try to negotiate while another group finds where they've taken Captain Redwing." Ooh. So far in chat, I've got a 1 and a 3. It's that split. Ooh, another 3? So far, so good. And 3. Okay. So far, we have a really good idea what we're doing, so we are going to go with number 3. And we're going to do both, that's actually what I would do. Goodness knows. So, here we go. "All right," Lex says, exchanging a look with Reuben. "We're listening, but talk fast." "You do." "We have 2 important things to do," you begin. "We need to get the information about Allende, and we need to find Captain Redwing. We have enough people to be able to do both at the same time. One group will scout out the places where they could have taken her. If they begin at the cove on the South Island," Maurice offers, "then they likely continue toward the island chain to the south. That is a good place to start." "And you can get us there?" Lex asks Maurice skeptically. He turns a slight smile, confident in his own abilities, as he says, "I can. And the rest of us can find Allende. Allende may have a terrifying reputation, but she has to be able to be reasoned with. She wouldn't have stayed in power for this long if she weren't. So all we need to do is find her," you offer. "She must have taken Captain Redwing for a reason." "Exactly," Reuben agrees. "Random violence. isn't like her. There has to be something else behind it. And if we can just talk to her, we'll figure it out. Maybe she wasn't even the one behind it. Maybe it was one of her lieutenants. Or someone else with a grudge against Captain Redwing you had. There are thousands of people on this island. Why did she kidnap her? And sea monsters or no sea monster? There's a sea monster, Ivan puts in. We can get to whatever Allende is and talk to her. All right, Lex's anxious energy isn't gone. They managed to hold it back just enough to agree. We need to be ready for a fight anyway. Oh, we will be ready, Ivan says ominously. For that sea monster or for Allende, whoever challenges us first. I hadn't thought of that. The crew's going to be split anyway. Half of them are going to want to negotiate and be mad that you didn't. And if you go the other way, the other half will think you're dragging your feet. It doesn't help that we have another captain on board. Yeah, I totally agree with that, because I hadn't even thought. I mean, thankfully we are in good with the previous captain. So hopefully he'll not try to fight us for the ship or something else. Hopefully he realizes that slavers are the bigger threat. And we're on to Chapter 5, so we are to save a captain. The Black Swan cuts silently through the darkened waters south of La Bucca, tracing the path that Kalemi and Maurice have charted by stars and skills alone. You put in briefly at a small cove so that you, Reuben, Christina, and a few others can disembark. We'll find Allende, Reuben promises Lex, clasping their hands tightly. I promise, but if things go wrong and we can't talk her down, I know you'll be able to handle the fight that comes. Yeah, I agree. Maurice, I think, will do the right thing. Then you leave the Black Swan behind and make your way toward the dim lights of the island town. This is the closest place where Allende holds court, Reuben explains again as you thread your way up the rocky beach. The yellow fin. If she's not here herself, someone will know where she is. Have you actually talked to her before? Christine whispers, slightly awestruck. She's close by Reuben's side, as she has been for the last few days. And now, of course, you know what that means. Reuben shakes his head. No, but I know people who have. She responds to reason and passion. She can tell when you feel the conviction of what you're saying, and that makes a difference. Her lieutenants and lackeys, they don't care about that. They only care about about a show force. The Yellow Fin is a tavern, and it's a far cry from Le Gros Vert. Instead of raucous cheer, there is a low rumble of conversation that sounds muted and angry, instead of uproarious songs. There is a single shabby lute player plucking unheard in the corner. Shreds of paint peel off the wall, and the bar is battered from countless fights. A broken chair leans against the wall where nobody has bothered to clean it up, forgotten and shadowed in the dim light. This is where Allende holds court, you mutter to Reuben. He shrugs. She likes to keep a low profile. A few of the drinkers give you casual looks and drop their heads back to their mugs. But you can see that their eyes have sharpened with suspicion. Where before you saw a group of bleary drinkers, now you see the cunning and intelligence of people on guard for strangers. And you see curved blades glinting in the lamplight. These are the Buccaneers, the pirates who don't follow the code, the ones who sail in darkness and stealth. Perhaps it isn't so surprising after all that this is one of Allende's bases of operations. How will you go about getting the information you need? Raucous. I don't know. I just say it the way I've always said it. I'm used to the fact as a Texan that there are probably a million words I say wrong. I try to work on it occasionally. So, finding the information. Let's spread around some coin. 10 guilders should loosen their tongues. Let's pretend to be a new member of Allende's gang. Let's just ask straight out. If these people care about force, let's be blunt and forceful. I don't really like any of these choices because it's like 10 guilders should loosen their tongues and also the strap keeping their swords in. Let's pretend to be new members of Allende's gang. Yeah, let's lie right off the bat. Especially if they're here in the bar and we just don't realize it yet. Let's just ask straight out if these people care about force. Let's be blunt and forceful. So I've got 2 for 1 so far, and 1 for 3. If it were me, I personally would have also this bet in blunt, but I get a feeling that we're going to be trying number 1. So well, go ahead and let's do it. We're going to try number 1. Spread around coins. Let's buy a few rounds and spread around a few coins, you suggest. That should get people in a good enough mood to talk. Reuben grins. It always does. Guilders in hand, you and your companions fan out around the yellow fin. Ivan and... help me out with this one again. It's Shan? Or Shihan? Correct? To sit at your tables. You and Reuben and Christine to buy some drinks at the bar. You carry your mugs back from the bar, trying not to think too hard about how long it might have been since you were last washed, and slide into the seat next to one of the Buccaneers. A short, dark woman with a mess of curly black hair and a fierce look in her eyes. Care for a drink, friend, you ask? The woman snorts. I'm no friend of yours. Who are you? Siobhan? Siobhan, thank you. I'm going to get it down. I'm terrible with, Irish pronunciations. I think it was, sorry for the digression, but it was Changeling the Dreaming. You know, when you're dealing with the she and the city, or, you get where I'm coming from. For years, when I talked to people playing Changeling, they were always like, the Sidhi. And then you finally meet people who talk a little bit of Irish, or at least have been to Renaissance Fair, and they're all like, it's the she. So, not my forte, but I'll learn. So Christine grins. We're the people who just bought everyone a round of drinks, and we can pay for your next round too, unless, she adds with a elaborate show of innocence, you'd rather spend your own coins instead of ours. The Buccaneer eyes you warily. Nobody buys a round out of the goodness of their heart. When they do, they do in other places, but apparently not in the Yellow Fin. What do you want? Information, you reply. Where is Allende? The dark-haired woman's grin spikes up. Well, that'll cost you more. Behind her, a wave of grumbles start. You're going to sell her out, comes one voice. The woman dismisses the protest with a shrug. Who's selling anyone out? I'm making a bargain. She fixes you with a greedy gaze. Your money's good, then my information's good, but it doesn't come cheap. As soon as the last guilder has clinked down, she snaps her hand shut around the coins. She's import sacred, something with the sea monster. The grin turns malicious. If you're selling out towards the sea monster, good luck to you with that. As you turn to leave, you hear the noise start up again. Half cries of anger that someone would sell Allende's information, half laughter at the poor saps who are sailing off towards the sea monster. Guess we get to deal with the sea monster after all, Reuben mutters. Eben groans. Next time, listen to me when I say there's a sea monster. Ooh, good point, David. Let's look at stats, and I want to see how much money we still have after that. We have 90 guilders, so it costs us 10 guilders. But it's kind of neat to actually see that that is having an effect in game. Did anything else change? Not really. Lex is still a 50. Alright. So now we need a way to get to Port Sacred. Christine says, when you are all at a safe distance from the Yellowfin and its Buccaneers. Do we know which way it is? Reuben points out over the darkened waters. That way. It's one of the places where the Black Swan is going to be looking for Captain Redwing. We can get there first, though, if we can get a ferry. His pointing finger swings around, and you follow its direction to a small gleam of a lantern that marks the ferry pier. They run between these islands regularly. Not at this hour, usually, but we could try. They'll take us if we pay them extra. They'll take us if we order them to, or we can just steal the ferry. I myself, I don't know if I feel comfortable. Weird to say. I don't know if I feel comfortable stealing from pirates. So, that's kind of my thing. Who knows? But so, 1, 2, or 3. I leave it up to everybody else. We're privateers, not pirates. So far, I've got to vote for 1. I might be going with it for the moment. 1, 1, 1. All right. Oh, hey, Jessica. Thank you so much for coming into chat tonight. Good to see you here. All right, we're going to go for 1. Pirateers. So, money is very persuasive. Reuben agrees. Ivan shoves him good-naturedly, especially when it's someone else spending their money and not you spending yours. Your money proves very persuasive indeed to the ferry pilot. 10 minutes later, she's sailing out across the darkened water with all of you aboard her ferry, and a few more coins in her purse. Don't know why you'd want to go there, she remarks, but for that many guilders, I'll sail you to the sea monster itself. Well, you know, we were going to mention this. Once you are safely away from shore, Christine edges up to you. Concern wars with determination on her face, plainly visible even in the dim moonlight. We're going to get out of this one, she asks quietly. Right? Because we've had a lot of fights in the last few days. Can we make it through this one? Wow, Christine. Okay, so absolutely. I don't really believe it, but I want to make her feel better. Absolutely. I truly believe we can. It's going to be hard. That's the truth, and I won't hide it from her. Go talk to Reuben. I don't want to deal with her. Go talk to Reuben. I know it will make her happy if she does. Wow! Wow. Yeah, I kind of agree, too. Wow. Man, somebody's got to come back and play this as a jerk. You know, this be like, you know, I'm not going to dirty my blade, and all the fights at the beginning, and hiding in the crow's nest. And then getting to this point to be, go talk to Reuben, you know. Ooh. So I've got 2 on 2 and 2 on 3. Ugh, tough choices. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Realistic and practical. You know, So the question is, technically, if the Moon Crow, if you were still in chat, you could get this one. You could be the choice. But at this moment, Jessica, you just came into chat. I'm going to give it to you, so we're going to go with It's Going to Be Hard. That's truth, and I won't hide it from her. Christine nods. Yes, it will. We'll take it together, right? She doesn't wait for the answer. She gives a quick grin, reassuredly enough, but by your honesty, to smile again. Thanks. I'm glad you're here, Quinn. The ferry threads through a treacherous network of rocks and tiny islands until you find your destination, Port Sacred. It's not really a port, just a small island given the name of port, with a sheer cliff face running up one side. And next to that cliff is a small vessel bobbing gently in the water, dark water. Christine squints. Are there people out fishing at this time of night? That's not a fishing vessel. Siobhan says. She pulls a spyglass. Don't worry about it, Mooncrow. It's all good. She pulls a spyglass from the pocket of her loose breeches and peers through the dim moonlight. I don't see anyone on deck, she says, shaking her head. Is that a Lende's ship, you ask? Siobhan shakes her head again. It might be. It isn't flying any banner, and if it's got a name, I can't see it from this distance. But I do see a cave. She glances over at Reuben. I'd be willing to bet that's where that's where we need to go. As you draw near, the mouth of the cave comes more clearly into view, like some huge dark sun rising over the horizon. The cave is so large that you could sail the ferry into it. Sandy beach hugs the coast, spreading out in front of the cave. A few figures move up and down the beach, dark against the pale sand. Suddenly, one of them straightens up. They've spotted us, Reuben mutters. So we got some choices. Let's talk to them. We can try to convince them that we're supposed to be here. We should just attack them. They're probably Elende's guards. I'll distract them, and then the rest of you can knock them out. Oh, you don't know how bad I wanted to sing for that last one, but someone in chat has asked me not to sing tonight, so I won't sing for them. But so we got 3 choices. 1, 2, or 3. 1. Let's talk to them. And be safe. 1. Wow. 1. Ooh. I think we're going to go with it. Let's go for it. We're going to do 1. If you speak with enough confidence and flair, you can convince anyone of anything. At least you hope so. You guide the ferry to where you can disembark, and as you approach, the Buccaneers arrange themselves to block the entrance to the cave. Move along now, says the tall woman, her blonde hair tied back in a faded bandana and her bright sunburn visible even in the dim light. She rests her hand on the hilt of a blade, but does not pull it. We're here on Elende's orders, you declare. The blonde Buccaneer frowns. We didn't hear about nobody else being ordered to come here. Well, you can take it up with Elende herself when you see her, you reply. She's not going to be happy when you hear that when she hears that you blocked us. The Buccaneer looks around at each other, murmuring uncertainly. You can only catch a few words. Let them through. Better not risk it. Until finally the blonde, sunburned woman steps forward again. All right, she says. You go in. Nobody'd use Elende's name like that if they didn't really have her orders. Not unless they had a lot of nerve or no judgment at all. Or maybe both. We're just lying suddenly. They didn't really give us a choice of how we were going to do this. It's like, Yeah, I wish I'd known. By the way, we're going to just drop the biggest name that we have access to right now. But what can you do? Here we are. A well-worn footpath leads up the beach into the black cavern, leaving the sea behind. Deeper darkness closes in around you as the cave closes off even the pale moonlight. Siobhan, ever prepared, lights a torch, and the flame springs to life, throwing deep, shifting shadows over the cavern walls. The water in here is as still as a mirror, and clear as crystal. You can see the outlines of rocks on the bottom that seem impossibly near, though they must be several fathoms below. The cavern ceiling is so high above you that you lose sight of it. Behind you, you hear more footsteps crunching on sand. The sound strangely loud in the stillness of the night. You tense for a moment, ready for more Buccaneers to attack. But instead, it is Maurice's face that emerges into the flickering torchlight, followed by those of the rest of the sailors and pirates who were in the other group. You let out a sigh of relief. Once the others have gathered around, you exchange information quietly. We've scouted the cave, Lex says, her voice carefully low, but filled with so much pent-up energy that you're surprised that they haven't charged in to rescue Peyton yet. Lende is definitely in there. Captain Redwing too, we think. We figured out a quiet way in, and we can probably take them by surprise. But there's that sea monster, Ivan says. Because of course Ivan is the one to bring up the sea monster. We could take the last one because we had the Black Swan and her cannons. We don't have that here. We'll need guns if we're going to have any chance against it. Lex shakes her head. Our biggest advantage is surprise. If we start shooting off guns, we lose that, and if we start making noise, we might provoke the sea monster into attacking and making things worse. Reuben glances over at you. This is your plan, Quinn. What do you think? Ooh, we get some responsibility. So, the sea monster is the biggest threat. Let's make sure everyone has a gun and we'll use it. No guns, I say. Agreeing with Lex, we can't risk the advantage of losing the advantage of stealth. No guns, I say, and if we're trying to negotiate with the Lende, we shouldn't look hostile. Let's have the guns, but try to use them strategically. There are people in there as well as the monster. What's everybody think? 1, 2, 3, or 4? I kind of like 4. But what does chat think? 3. Got 2 on 4. I got 1 on 3. Four. All right. I also like stealth. I am a stealth gamer. I love sneaking in games, but chat has spoken. Lex nods once sharply. If we can avoid getting attacked by both the Buccaneers and that monster, so much the better. I'd rather not fight at all, you agree. But if we have to, it would be better to fight the Buccaneers rather than the sea monster. He even slumps in disappointment but says, Aye, all right. Maybe we can pull this off without the monster noticing. He doesn't sound very hopeful. So, do we try to go stealthy? Siobhan puts in. No, speed is more important. No, we want them to know that we're a threat. Yes, we need every advantage that we can get. Ooh, tough choice, chat. Because, yeah, speed is important. Three. We need every advantage we could get. So many threes. uh, it's one of those things where if you go in as a threat, and we have reason to believe in past from discussions that Elende can control the sea monster or summon it or something, I feel like, yeah, three. Definitely. Let's be stealthy. Let's have some guns. Let's go for it. Yes, we need every advantage that we can get. The others nod, and together you move deeper into the cavern. After a few minutes, you see a soft red-yellow glow reflecting on the water's surface up ahead. The cavern sound changes too, with echoes growing louder as they bounce around a larger space. There's a huge chamber opening up ahead of you, and you can hear the sound of speech rising up to mingle with the muted crash of waves behind you. Your path opens out and curves around the cavern's back half, creating a bay. Two small vessels are moored next to a pier at the far end. You can see a dozen people arranged around a stone circle set into the stand. Something is written on the stone, but you can't make it out. Peyton is lying unmoving and prone on the stone with her hands and feet bound. Ugh! Standing a bit apart is a tall person, their body shrouded by a swirling cloak and their face by an iron mask that reflects the firelight with a dull glow. This must be Elende. You and Reuben exchange glances. This is your chance to negotiate, and it looks as if you're going to need to talk fast. The opposing figure turns the full force of their blank mask towards you. It is Elende in all her fearsome presence, long black hair flowing down around the iron mask that covers her face, a fine red frock coat, and high leather boots over soft brown leggings, and a wicked sharp, curved blade pointed at you. You, she rasps in a low voice. Who are you? There is so little inflection that it is barely even a question. I make a show of force. She's a warrior. She'll respect that. I know she's reasonable. I try to present intelligent arguments. I make a flowery speech, trying to dazzle her with my eloquence. Wow. Are we playing Call of Cthulhu again? Good question. Tentacles and RPGs. What can we say? The community knows its kink. Sorry. Let's go ahead and I'm actually curious. I want to look at our stats for this. What would be better? Out of everything that we could do right now, what would be better? So, going down. Wits and empathy are fairly high. We're more of a planner than an improviser. We're more of a leader than a follower. We lean more towards privateer than pirate. We already know all that. But, so, the way stats work in this game, brawn is obviously strength. Finesse is your ability to use a sword. Panache is kind of like that inborn quality of just being cool and having a certain way with things. Resolve is it's both physical and mental resolve. Wits, being smart. And empathy, understanding other people's emotions. So, with that in mind, let's go back. Because those are our two highest things are wits and empathy. And so we could realistically, I think, do really well if we try to be reasonable. But what does chat think? I mean, we can always just go for being a warrior. Or making a flowery speech. I think the flowery speech falls more under panache. But okay. Showing force is viable in negotiation. Intimidation is a thing. But would she be intimidated by us? If Elende is a cultist, reason is going to go flat. Okay, I agree with that. I can definitely see that. I mean, if she is sacrificing people to her dark whatever for her power, she's not going to give that up. Ooh. Kind of at a tie right now between that 1 and 2. So I need some help, guys and gals and people of the internets. Out of curiosity, Mooncrow, if you had to pick between the two, between 1 or 2, which one do you think you'd really go with? Uh-oh. We've got 2 people now with a hard 2. Oh, we have a perfect tie again. So, between the 2. Deadlock's out there, and Deadlock has gone with 2. So there we go. We're going for that. I know she's reasonable. I try to present intelligent arguments. We have come to negotiate for the life of Captain Peyton Redwing. You begin in a measured tone. We know that you are a reasonable leader, one who cares about honor and integrity. If you seek ransom, we can discuss terms, guilders, or other treasure, or whatever it is you seek. If you have a personal grudge against Captain Redwing, then we swear on our honor and hers that she will do what she can to make it right. On the code of the Brotherhood. Reuben prompts in a whisper. On the code of the Brotherhood, you repeat aloud. Allende snorts, sound muffled by the barrier of her mouth. Your code, she rasps. What do I care for your code? The code does not run here. She's so not reasonable. It definitely doesn't feel that way. Cannot shake the feeling that something here is wrong. Allende was supposed to be a reasonable person, one that could be negotiated with, and this person is not. Allende raises her blade higher. The time for speaking is done. If you dare defy me longer, you will pay with blood. You exchange blows with Allende, each parrying the other's attack with a ringing of steel on steel. While she isn't the best duelist you've ever fought, she is no pushover. Now that she has had time to adjust to you, she falls into an easy grace as she tries to maneuver the fight and keep an eye on Peyton's unconscious form. Despite whatever desire Allende might have to sacrifice or kill Peyton, you are both exceedingly careful of her body as you exchange blows. I'd rather not fight you, Allende says between attacks. Just leave. What is she to you? Ooh, you know where I'm at in this one. She is a friend. No one deserves this, not even a pirate. She is my captain, or I love her. Did it all for the glory of love. Come on. You've all seen, which of the Karate Kid movies was that in? I think that was in the second Karate Kid movie. Thank you. 4. 4 is the right answer. Like a knight in shining armor from a long time ago. Sorry, David, you're outvoted. I've got my quorum. The Iron Mask betrays no emotion, but you think you hear Allende scoff. She doesn't say anything, though, and instead lunges at you, hoping to take you off guard. I attempt to riposte, blocking her attack and striking her in the open. I dodge her attack and try to keep her out of reach. I parry her attack and remain defensive. So yeah, it was the second Karate Kid movie. The first one had, so many ballads in that series. It's like let's shove as much REO Speedwagon as we can into a movie. Riposte. Number 1. What's y'all's favorite swashbuckling movie? Yeah, I have a pretty extensive collection of these kind of movies, and it's a great movie from France called En Garde. It's probably my favorite of all time. Let's see. So one, because it sounds cool. Yeah, yeah, we're catching up to watch Cobra Kai. That's kind of our end goal is being ready so that we can sit down and watch that. But here we go. I attempt a riposte, blocking her attack and striking her in the open. You slam your sword into Alende's and drive her back and off balance. You immediately follow up the attack by driving your weapon at her. She belatedly brings her sword up to parry the incoming attack, but your strike draws blood. She falls back out of your range, now put on the defensive. You round on Allende, keeping your sword up and at the ready as she lunges toward you. Allende meets you blow for blow, holding you and Lex at bay. A less skilled warrior would be down by now, or perhaps a warrior fighting a more skilled foe than you. But Allende is still on her feet, even though her energy seems to be flagging. With all your attention focused on Allende, you don't realize that the fighting around you has stopped. It isn't until you hear an ear-piercing scream and see Allende's blank mask directed to a spot behind and above you that you realize something is wrong. Oh, I'm sensing a Willow moment where the two-headed dragon comes out of the water behind him, and it's like, oh, everybody's not fighting anymore. Nobody's rushing. All right, here we go. Oh, you turn slightly to look and see a huge shape looming out of the water. It is so large that it completely blots out the small spot of light where the cave opening is far in the distance. The torchlight illuminates sickly brown-green scales covering a serpentine neck. A large snake-like head as big as a boat in the water. Rests atop with glowing red eyes and fangs as long as a person's arm. The air around the serpent's head shimmers with a greenish tinge. Air around the... Okay. The Buccaneers' numbers are still strong, but even they cannot stand against this. They back frantically away, making signs against evil and trying to shield themselves with their weapons. I told you, says Allende in a hoarse, ragged voice. Somewhere Eben is probably saying the same thing. Or he would if the combined pirate crew and merchant sailors were not standing just as frozen and silent as the Buccaneers. Now is the time for action. So, I rally the crew to fight the serpent. I knock Allende out and grab Peyton to leave this place. I rally the crew and Buccaneers both. It will be harder, but we need as many fighters as we can to defeat the serpent. No, Allende never mentioned the serpent. No, yeah, no, she never personally, as far as I remember, she never mentioned the serpent. So, maybe it was something that she was saying under her breath. Yeah, I kind of agree, David. I would love to knock her out, grab Peyton, and book it. Rudeworks, you want us to rally both. I don't know if do you think the Buccaneers would follow us? I mean, we might all be about to get killed. They might not have a choice. Ooh. So 2-2-1, and all right. Well, right now we've got a major vote on number 2. I'm hoping the crew would follow you. I really do. I think we're going to go with 2, though. Well, at this point, we got the votes. Despite the battle, the serpent and everything else, Allende still has some fight left in her. She matches you blow for blow, even when Lex steps in. This fight is not over yet. As you move to help the crew and you see Allende grasp her sword and point it at you, You don't understand, she rasps. You can just barely make out her eyes behind the mask, and you can see that they are wide and terrified. I leave her behind. She is less threat than the sea monster. I keep fighting Elende. She needs to be defeated, or I get Ruben's attention and send him to deal with her while I deal with Sea Serpent. What the heck? What's everybody's thought? You know, obviously, we didn't get to this walk away from this fight. Yeah, no, I will not get Ruben killed. I have to be 100% honest on that. I've got a vote, again, to keep fighting Elende. I got 2 votes on that. I've got 1 on 1. Got 2 on 1. Ooh. See, my worry is maybe you might be correct. Maybe that the sea serpent is bewitched. I worry that the sea serpent is there to kill or take. Well, I think we can all surmise that the sea serpent is there to kill and take Peyton. Yeah, if we kill Elende, the fight will shift. Let's go for it. What's the worst could happen? My lover gets eaten. That's the worst. Elende moves to try to get in your way and you square off against her. There is no easy way out for you, Elende, you tell her. She doesn't respond, but you can hear her breath coming in ragged gasps. Is she crying? It doesn't matter because she lunges at you. You block the attack, but she presses in again and again. The presence of the sea serpent has destroyed her sensibilities and she attacks in a frenzy. You slash at her, but she barely wavers as the tip of your sword grazes her chest. Elende advances again in a flurry of blows, and though you try to parry them all, if you get through, she leaves herself open afterward and you take advantage of it, slicing into her sword arm. She drops the weapon and turns to run, panic finally taking hold of her. Ooh. Sorry. Here we go. From the giant serpent's mouth there comes a massive roar and a wave of green vapor that rolls out over the cavern. The sound is so loud that many people stop and put their hands over their ears. Even you give pause at the sound of the piercing screech. The remaining Buccaneers cut and run, fleeing in all directions. You can see a few unfortunate souls too close to the water's edge, overtaken by the vapor, begin to choke and gasp for air. Whatever this stuff is, it is clearly deadly. The crew of the Black Swan take their cue and start running as well, trying to find a safe distance from the vapor. You do a quick check. Lex is pulling Captain Redwing away from danger. With Ruben close behind, Maurice and Akuso are rallying the Dame Fortune's crew, and even Siobhan are doing the same for the Black Swan. I'm pretty sure Captain Redwing, Peyton Redwing, is in the mask. Or not in the mask. It was the sacrifice. You walked up, you saw her. I hope. Oh, dang. What about Christine? No. Your heart skips beat as you scan the fallen bodies and then start again as you see your childhood friend stumbling across the beach, pistol in hand. She's trying to reload and run at the same time and making her perilously slow. Christine, leave the pistol and run, I call out to her, alerting her to danger. I rush forward with the intention of pulling her to safety. Stop and go back and get Christine, I call out to the crew, are leaving her behind. Oh no! What do we do, guys? What do we do? I don't want to lose my childhood best friend. Oh, we need some good battle music, right? We're in an underground. There's a cave. Some water, right? some good music. We're fighting something big. Alright, so far, looking back to chat now. 2, 2, and 2. I rushed forward with the intention of pulling her to safety. Why did that not start up? There we go, yeah. Alright, we're going for 2. Rushing forward. You start running again. The tide of the Buccaneers, against the tide of Buccaneers and pirate crew. Christine sees you and abandons the pistol. She breaks out in full run, but she is a few hundred feet away from you. You push past people trying to get to her, but their panic makes them foggy. They simply run into you rather than getting out of your way. The serpent begins moving forward, and all you could do is watch helplessly. The serpent sweeps its huge head down and crashes into the running bodies. People scrambling and fall, some even toppling and rolling several feet away. It happens so quickly you lose sight of Christine. When the head clears, you can't make her out from the rest of the crew lying broken on the ground. I shout for my friend. I focus on getting everyone to safety. Christine will come when she can. I charge toward the place where I saw Christine last. I gotta vote for 3. 3. One more and we move forward with it. 3. There we go. Stop, comes a new voice amid the crashes, shouts and crashes. Commanding one with a Montaigne accent. Through the chaos, you make out a figure of a woman with dark brown hair and a hard jawline, barking orders to the Buccaneers. And you also see a Lende held fast by the arms between 2 Buccaneers, facing the newcomer. How could somebody get into the cavern, and how could anyone capture a Lende? You are starting to wonder if she really was ever a Lende to begin with. You move closer to get a better look. Maurice follows closely behind. The woman wears an outfit strikingly similar to that of a Lende. High leather boots, brown breeches, red frock coat, down to the same style leather gloves. The only difference is this woman's hair is a shade lighter and she wears no mask, showing her dark brown and strong features to all. Quickly get out of here, the woman calls. She has a distinct Montaigne accent reminding you of Maurice's noble-born lilt. She sweeps her hand towards a crevice in the back of the cavern, barely wide enough for 2 people to walk side by side. Everyone still on their feet starts to rush forward, crowding towards the exit. We must leave behind you. The monster roars again, the sound shaking pebbles loose from the cavern ceiling and causing sand to rain down on your head. The 2 individuals holding onto a Lende drag her, kicking and screaming towards the back of the cavern at the newcomer's orders. As Lende is being carried away, the newcomer turns to face you. You're the real Lende, aren't you? Who are you? I ask, hoping this woman knows more than I do about what's really going on. We can't leave. There are people hurt back there and they need my help, I tell her. I'm not going anywhere until I'm done with the fight, I tell her. Well, you know where I sit on this one. I definitely am like, we gotta help the people. What's the chat gonna say? Got 1 vote for 3, 2 votes for 3. 1 or 3. I kind of go with 3 at this point. We got some good momentum going. We're going to keep going with it. If you want to help the Montaigne woman, reply swiftly. The best thing you can do is get people out. She speaks with the same urgency that you have heard the ship captain. The safety of her crew is her highest concern. But what about the wounded, you protest? My friends are hurt. They might even be dying. I can't leave them behind. Far behind you on the beach, you can see the giant serpent's head smashing about. She follows your look and sees the people laid on the ground. A frown creases her brow. They might already be dead. We need to help the living, she says. Her voice is somber with grief for people she'd never met. I have to go to them, you tell her. Right. Well, I'm the only one who can stop that monster, she says, and pulls out a talisman with a circular snake engraved on it from inside her shirt. You look down at the talisman and then back at the woman wearing the metal mask once stood. I thought, you start, that she is a Lende? No. She is an imposter, someone I'll deal with later. She stole my mask. The woman says to you, anger flaring in her voice, let's see what we can do. She heads off towards the water and you follow close on her heels. Just beneath the monster's looming head, you can see movement in the sand. It's the group that had been attacked by the serpent moments ago. They are still alive. Thank goodness. I run to them, heedless of any danger from the sea serpent. I will conquer my fear and stand firm to shield Christine from the serpent. Can you distract the monster so I can go help them? I asked the true Allende. Oh, I agree, David. It is a well-done kind of moment. 2. I agree. I will conquer my fear and stand firm to shield Christine from the serpent. 3 from David. Two from Deadlock. Just need one more. Two or 3. Okay, 2 it is. Thank you. You see a hand raise up from the sand from where you had been standing. It's hard to tell anything, but it appears to be Christine from here. She struggles to sit up, but you see the sea monster's head swooping in for another pass. Christine, stay down, you call to her. I'm coming to you. Christine drops back into the sand with a swirl of dust. The woman claiming to be Allende gives you an exasperated look, but holds out her hand in a warning gesture at the sea creature. It roars in pain and frustration as whatever she is doing seems to push it back. You run to Christine's side and you place yourself between her and the monster. Your childhood friend lies on the sand, crumpled and broken mess. Her arm dangles at a hideous angle and your blood seeps from the corner of her lips. It takes you and Reuben both to get her sitting and then standing, and she whimpers in pain the whole time. At least her legs aren't injured, so you can try to walk, but that's probably the only part of her that isn't. Very gently, Reuben helps Christine get her good arm over his shoulder, bringing a weak smile to her bloodied lips. Christine looks around the cavern, taking in the situation. What's going on? She asks, in a wheezing voice. That woman says she's Allende. The other woman is an imposter. She thinks she can calm the sea monster, you tell her. Captain Redwing? She asks, her voice blurry with pain. Safe, you say. And Christine lets her eyes close in relief. Now let's get out of here. You make your slow, painful way toward the crevice at the back of the cavern. Lex and Akuso are there already, waiting with the still unconscious Peyton. Another roar breaks the relative silence, this time accompanied by a woman's scream. Everyone turns to look in time to see Allende fly back away from the creature, slammed by the serpent's whipping tail. Once again, the monster is free to do whatever bonds she put on it. And this time it is furious. Where before the monster might have been playing with them, it is now out for blood. The snake's head darts about, teeth snapping at empty air as people drop to the ground in fear. The creature's movements are seeking, but it seems unable to get a good bead on anyone in the cavern. Few people remain, and those who do try to stay as still as possible. Each loud noise or movement draws its attention. It clearly has trouble focusing and instead thrashes about, making the water and anything near the creature extremely dangerous. Allende sits up, shaking herself from her daze. I can't control it, she calls out to you. It's too angry. The only thing that will work now is blood. What do you mean, blood? Maurice calls back incredulously. She stands and makes her cautious way to the group at the back of the cave. I mean, she says, she pushes people towards the crevice, that someone needs to die. People have already died, you claim, pointing at the prone bodies on the sand. Yes, but it hungers for living flesh. They won't do, she says, her voice laden with sadness. What about the other Allende? Reuben motions to the crevice in the back of the cavern, but the woman in the mask has already gone through. As fitting as that would be, she is already gone. We don't have time to get her, Allende says. A line of worry creases her brow as she monitors the serpent's thrashing. A small voice speaks. I'll do it, Christine's voice is small but firm. Dang it, Christine, don't do it. I'll do it, Christine says again. What? No! Yes. It needs someone living, and I won't be for long. She tries to draw a breath, but it catches halfway on a painful, choking grasp. I can tell. I can feel it. Let me. I've had a pretty good life, right? Traveled farther than I've ever thought I could. I've seen amazing things. I've met wonderful people. She gives Reuben a shaky smile. Here's my chance to do something great. If I can save everyone, I will. Dang it. I give Christine a tearful goodbye. I will spend her last moments by her side. I solemnly thank Christine for her sacrifice and flee back to the waiting ship. I leap forward to make one last desperate strike against the monster. Nobody else will die today. I will sacrifice Peyton to save Christine. This action will cause corruption. Yeah, me too. Agreed. You played with the sea monster. Why aren't you volunteering? That's leadership for you. That's capitalism. We're going with 3. Yep. Quinn, shouts a voice from behind you. What are you doing? You've already left them all. You're charging towards the roiling water, ready to strike the beast that thrashes beneath it. As you draw closer, the sulfuric haze of its breath rises up around you, nearly choking you with its vile stench. The serpent's massive head lunges forward, seeking its next prey. The prey that could be Christine or Peyton or you. Unless you act quickly. Quinn, get away from it! More than one voice is calling now, rising into a cacophony. One of them is Christine's. Let me, she gasps. I said let me! But all you can hear is the thrash of serpent against the shore, and all you can see is the spray of salt water. And all you can think is nobody else dies today. I will jump and stab the serpent, hoping to destroy it by sheer strength alone. I look for weakness to exploit to finish it quickly. I encourage the remaining crew to help me in a concentrated attack to take it down quickly. Tough choices. Very tough choices. You know. 3. Encourage people. You want me to encourage people to come and let's do a concentrated attack. I mean, this was kind of a self-sacrificing thing to get in here and do this, yeah, but chat wants it. You know, I would have too, maybe Deadlock, but for me, it's like I wouldn't want to risk other people's lives because that was kind of the focus of the previous test. But we're gonna go with it. One good concentrated attack is all we need. Everyone on my count. Call out to the shore and your voice rings above the din. People running back to the back of the cave turn and look, and the serpent turns to you as well. Ooh. For Quinn, you hear someone shout, and you're pretty sure it's Ivan. The serpent whips around to attract a new voice, and people start calling out aloud, distracting and angering the creature. You begin your count, and your steady, loud voice rises above the clamor below and draws the serpent's attention once more. And you hit the count of 3, the serpent lunges. At the same time, you and several other people still in the cave fire as well. The deafening crack of the multiple gunshots drown out the serpent's scream as the blows of the shot push it away from you. The creature swiftly descends back into the water, and soon the cove is still once more. You drop down off the outcropping to join the others. You see Christine standing on the shoreline waiting for you. Her eyes are wide with wonder or shock, you aren't sure which. You killed it, she says in awe. Allende runs up in panic. You killed it! Words echoes Christine's, but fear and anger make her sound wild. Unsure, you look back at the water. I don't know. I can't imagine my lone attack could kill the thing, but I didn't see where it went. You tell her. You better hope it isn't dead, she says, trying to muster menace. Yeah. Why? So you can sacrifice people to it? I hope it's dead. It's awful to keep such a thing on the island. I'm sure it isn't. I've seen what kind of damage those things can take. I'll let everybody go with their thoughts on that. Yeah, I want to see those achievements, the specifics of it. So, where was it? Open, I guess. So, we got Serpent Slayer. Kill the sea serpent of Bucca. And a best friend. Save Christine's life. So, yeah. Alright. Alright, return to the game. Don't get spoiled. Yeah, I almost did looking down at the bottom of that. I didn't realize that you could see the future achievements. So, yeah. I've already blocked it from my mind. Do not worry. But everybody's won. I kind of agree. Why? So you can sacrifice people to it? Yeah. Frick. Anyway. That creature was the only thing protecting this island. Without it, we stand to lose everything to whichever nation realizes we are unprotected first. Melende's voice is no longer panicked, but you can tell she is still afraid. Before you have a chance to respond, Christine collapses. Maurice, Ruben, Lex, and Akuso are already at her side, having come up with after the serpent disappeared. She's lost a lot of blood, Akuso says. We need to get her back to the ship and to a doctor. I've got one nearby. She'll be well taken care of. Get out of here. I'll cast a sleep spell on the serpent in case it is still alive down there and plotting revenge. Lende motions for the group to leave out the back. Ruben picks Christine up gently in her arms, and you and Lex pick up Peyton to carry her to the crevice in the back of the cavern. For what seems like an eternity, but what is really only a few minutes, you thread your way through narrow darkness until the crevice opens out into a carved staircase leading up. Up ahead, you see a slight flickering flame as wall sconces light the path. The group moves through in a single file up the stairs until you pass through a heavy wooden door to a relatively large wooden shack. Most of the Buccaneers have left already, but a few remain, notably the ones holding the masked woman. The entirety of the crew of the Black Swan stands huddled around the area. The crew of both the Dame Fortune and the Black Swan happily greet Christine as Ruben carries her through the door. The woman whom you now know to be the true Allende gives a few short orders to a tall man with graying hair and fine clothes that looks out of place among the rest of the Buccaneers. Now we can go ahead and stop the music. He immediately begins tending to Christine's wounds. He pulls out salves and bandages from a large leather bag he carries over his shoulder. Ruben doesn't leave her side, but instead attempts to help the doctor with his ministrations. You see Peyton lying on the ground with a younger man in similar dress tending to her. You move to her side to see how she is doing. You pull her hand into yours. The young man holds smelling salts under her nose. As her eyes flutter open, they lock onto yours and she gives you a weak smile. Quinn, where is everyone else? She weakly moves her head to try and take in the rest of the scene. You can tell that Ruben is completely smitten with Christine and he won't leave her side. He glances at you a few times as though somehow asking your permission to be there. You can go with, just treat her right, I tell him with a smile. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm all right with this. I frown and look away. Maybe you two should talk and leave me out of it. I encourage him. What do y'all think? What's the right answer? Got a number 1. Got a 3. Three. 1. Or 1. So I've got 3 would be fine, but her approval might mean something to Ruben. 1. We're going to go with 1. Just treat her right. I tell him with a smile. Yeah, because it is one of those things. that he was kind of looking to you for how you felt. I kind of agree with that. Reuben smiles back at you and redirects his attention to Christine. Everyone gets quiet around you as the Buccaneers, holding onto the masked woman, present her to a Montaigne woman. You watch as she yanks the iron mask from the woman's face. The woman has common Thayan features, making her nondescript and not particularly striking. Your charade has gone on long enough, Bridget. Allende growls into the woman's face. Her accent is stronger than earlier, thicker with her anger. Sorry, Bridget is a... I think in first edition there was a character by the name of Bridget, who was a courtesan. But anyway, I might be completely off on that. Allende, let me explain, the other woman pleads. If you had any questions about the Montaigne woman's identity, they're gone now. People are dead. You have caused chaos and ruin. You have endangered all the people of Bucca. What more is there to explain? She shoots back. That woman, Peyton. Bridget gestures wildly. She's evil, vile. Give Peyton a sidelong glance. She is sitting up now, holding her head, and has a grimace plastered on her face. Just because you don't like me doesn't make me evil, she spits. You marvel at how well Allende controls her voice as she speaks despite the apparent rage on her face. Captain Redwing is a friend of Bucca. She is a captain in the Brotherhood of the Coast, and she has Buccaneers sailing on her ship. We might have had a falling out in the past, but this, Bridget? She is in the other woman's face. This is unacceptable. The words are spoken slowly and clearly in a tone that you haven't heard since you last crossed your mother. Allende turns to the people around the shack. There is nothing I can do to make up for this injustice or the people you have lost. You have my condolences. Bucca is at your disposal. Anything you need or want is yours. I'll send someone to get a list from your quartermaster once we leave here. Peyton nods gently, still nursing her head. Thank you, she says. She doesn't say more, but a great deal seems to pass between the two women. All right, everyone, time to get going. I trust Allende to take care of this woman. Reuben carries Christine. The doctor walking with them keeps an eye on her. Peyton stops beside you, and the rest of the crew leaves. I'm sorry you found out like this, she says quietly. Found out what? I think I'm missing something. You and Allende. It became obvious just now. What do you think, chat? It's like, I don't know if any of these are a bad answer, honestly. I've got 2 for 3 right now. I'm kind of inclined to go with that because really, none of these are bad. Ooh, but I got a split vote. 2 for 3 and 2 for 2. I think I'm missing something. I mean, if I were really to try to understand the nuances, I think I'm missing something. You're calling on her to explain what's going on. You and Allende, it became obvious just now. I wish there was more punctuation or the way that you would inflect that, because obviously they banged, yes. You know, but without the inflection, are you trying to be insulting or, you know? I don't feel it would be insulting to say number 3. Goodness. But I've got a split vote. We're gonna go with 2. Because just on the off chance that 3 is worded in a way that you're trying to guilt her or something else. Peyton watches Allende, seeming to not really hear your response. I knew it wasn't really her. I was hoping Lex would realize it. But I guess they have always been jealous. She pauses and gives you a faint smile. Did Lex not tell you that Allende and I were lovers? No, they must not have thought it was important, you respond. Peyton shakes her head, giving her a wry half smile. Knowing Lex, they probably didn't tell you because it was so important. Either that they thought it was something I should tell you myself, or they just didn't know how to talk to you about something like that. But Allende and I ended badly, about a year ago. This is the first time I've been back. I'm sure that's why everyone was so willing to go along with the imposter. It's easy to think of a story where Allende would want to hurt me for hurting her, but Allende isn't like that. A hint of sorrow softens Peyton's voice, for the pain she caused Allende and for the love that they both lost. No matter what happened between us, I still know her. She would never kill for that kind of revenge, and that imposter wouldn't have fooled anyone who really knows Allende. Let's go, you tell her. She offers you her hand and walks out the door with you. And we move on to the next chapter. We are 10 minutes from 9. Interlude. Ooh, decisions. Let's look at this really quick. We'll end with our choice for this. I think this could be interesting. We have not seen something like this. Interlude. Decisions. The Black Swan sits low in the water as it slips out of Sunrise Haven into the deeper waters of the surrounding sea. The crew bustles with renewed energy as Captain Redwing calls out orders to take the ship out of port. Yeah, I'm thinking about stopping here after this one. You stand on the deck at the starboard rail, watching the city fall away. Christine stands nearby. Her arm is in a sling and she is purpled all over with bruises, but she stands firm. After a few moments, Peyton comes and stands at your side. She slips her hand into yours and gives it a gentle squeeze. The crew has been telling me stories of the rescue mission, she says to break the silence. Reuben has taken to calling you Captain Quinn. Even Lex has nice things to say, and they are the hardest person to impress I've ever met. Have they? Curiosity takes the better of you. She wears a mischievous grin. Of course, none of them will tell me exactly what happened. So, yeah, I think we're going to end here. I thought we were going to get, with them calling it an interlude, I thought they were going to say, oh, are you going to go deal with your mission? Are you headed for the slavers? Are you worried about your friend? But this looks like this is a good point on this paragraph, on this page, to go ahead and end. So I'm going to stop here for the night. Let's go ahead and look at our stats again. But we have Brawl. I think our Panache went up. That looks higher for some reason. Captain Redwing is still pretty high. Captain LaFleur. Lex did not go up. For all that I've impressed her, it does not look like it actually went up any. Too bad. But so we will go ahead and end here tonight. Thank you all so much for coming into chat. I do want to say you're going to want to come back on Thursday. Thursday is the grand finale of our Spycraft Classic playthrough that we are doing. It takes place during the Cold War involving the Cuban Missile Crisis. It is based on a mission that was written specifically for a game, an adventure that they put out called The Gentleman's Agreement. And so I'm really enjoying running it. This is going to be our grand finale. We have had Alyssa Appleton join us for that game specifically. Also, Roxy and Sean are also with us on that. And yes, I see Lexus said them, they. I'm sorry. I think I keep on messing up with that because the old TV show. But so that is Thursday is our Spycraft game, and I really hope that you all will come back and see our grand finale of that. It's probably my favorite of all the missions that I've read, and I've read quite a few of them for Spycraft. I mean, there's some great missions out there. And it's the classic Spycraft setting. It is not the Shadow Force Archer setting. But so that will be this Thursday, and then we will be back on Tuesday for the next session of this. Thank you so much, David. I do also want to be sure to say that I believe Roxy has more games that she is involved in this week. I think that this is it. Ruworks, is it Friday? Is the next game for you with Deadlands? Or am I game? Which game is it that's coming up next for you? Other than that, so I'll go ahead and say this here. Y'all can have a little bit of a teaser, and that is when Spycraft ends this Thursday. 2 weeks after that is going to be our return to Growing Shadows, the Ninja Crusade. We made it through our first 6 episodes before quarantine hit, so it has been a couple months since we have played it. It's a game that I would have preferred to be able to continue live with a studio full of people, but we just cannot do that safely. Here we go. Yeah, it's twitch.tv League of Explorers Deadlands Hell on Earth, and it's at 9 p.m. Central on League of Explorers. That's League_of_Explorers. And it is, I believe that's a weekly campaign, so please go and check that out. We have some other announcements that we'll be doing here on Quiett Gentleman, hopefully pretty soon here. Yeah. A couple of months or 7, yeah. Yeah, it's been 7 months since we last played Ninja Crusade. And I'll if you show up for Spycraft, I will cover what exactly the game is, where we left off. We'll do all that at the conclusion of Spycraft on Thursday, and I really hope to see you all there. Yep. All right. Well, thank you all very much, and we will see you all, if not Thursday, we hope to see you back here Tuesday next week for the next adventure of this. Night, everyone.